That's a difficult question because it can't be a question with yes or no. Let me try to explain. I'm not an anti-feminist or anti-patriarchy. I try to stay as much as I can away from tagging myself with a particular group. I feel that's really narrowing my view. I don't quite like tribalism. I think giving your whole being to a particular group can lead to conflict. I do believe that humans are humans, and even though men and women are different, we're gonna react ultimately in similar ways. I do believe that patriarchy can be toxic, but at the same time, feminism can be toxic as well. The only difference is that depending on the cycle that the world is, some are going to be more toxic than others. Patriarchy per se is not oppressive. People can become toxic and corrupted. And if you have a significant amount of people in a particular group called patriarchy or feminism or whatever you want to call them, they're going to become corrupted, and they're going to, they're going to think that they're the chosen one, or they're going to go off, because humans have ego and they have pride and they have all the negative traits. And when people get too much power and they don't have their ego in control, they just can go off track. And that's how organizations become corrupted. That's why we can't fight corruption. There's no such a thing. Fighting corruption is as realistic as being equal. That doesn't exist in this universe as far as I'm concerned. Yes, patriarchy can be oppressive, but then it leaves you questioning what is oppression. Because, like I stated in my previous video about sexual harassment, the space to interpret things. How do you feel oppressed? What is really oppression? You can't wear the clothes that you want. Okay, so what are the clothes you want to wear? Is this realistic to be dressed like that? It's a lot of questions. It goes like a tree. You can't quite say yes, patriarchy is oppressive, or yes, patriarchy that and that. You can't be that black and white, because life is not black or white. So there's always, depending on the circumstances, depending who are we talking about, depending their life experience, depending what are their beliefs, depends what their values, depends the filters they have. It depends on a lot of stuff. But overall, I don't think patriarchy is oppressive. No. Please, please, please. As a side note, I really, really appreciate your arguments in the comment section. I don't want you to agree with me what happened in my life. I'm not here to look for a husband. I'm in a relationship, so I don't look for husbands. I don't need a marriage. I don't know. So what I'm gonna say has nothing to do with looking for a husband. I have benefited, and I'm benefiting for patriarchy. I'm aware of these things more recent. Why? Because I'm ignorant. My mistakes are not of a feminist, of a toxic feminist. So I had to question myself the same how you question me if I believe that the patriarchy is toxic. I had to sit down and think, wait a minute, what am I living? What am I on about? And what do I use? Or how much have I taken from the world? And start to become aware that I'm so uneducated and I don't know anything about men. Even though the most dangerous things and the most complicated things have been done by men, I also don't buy into the idea that the world would have been way better without women and stuff like that. If the universe thought that we are better off without each other, we wouldn't be here. Now, I'm not going to deny that women and children are a lot of responsibility. More often than not, women are not educated in what really children mean for a man, because evolution has tricked us and we think babies are cute and fun and all that nonsense. Well, not nonsense, but all that stuff. We think that men are so keen to have babies in their life. And yes, some men do want children and they like children and stuff like that, but men are not so crazy about children. Men are crazy about women and women are crazy for children, and that's how it should be, with some exceptions, obviously. I am generalizing, so we're talking about in general. But we have a lot of expectations because men like to perform and they actually are driven to compete and stuff like that. Women have played a major role in making men to compete, because even though men would be alone on the planet and they have this drive to compete, for who to compete? Men don't really care if they don't have a territory and females and children to protect and fight for. This is wired within their nature. So it's not going to be like a bunch of men on a planet are going to kill each other and compete. No, I think they'll be friends, to be honest. They would live how they would live, and I don't think they would compete to such degree if women wouldn't be involved and children. I've benefited from this. Obviously, I'm alive and healthy and sound and everything today because my ancestor and our ancestors were tough cookies, you know. I can't imagine walking barefoot. Never mind having to run away with nothing and hunt, and oh my god, I'm such a snowflake. So I'm not capable yet of such gratitude to really become aware of what men have done for the world. What is oppressive, like I said, because they didn't allow women to do stuff, okay, that have gone a bit far in terms of modern world, like to, you know, be told what to do to the extent when to go out, when to come home, and be monitored and all that stuff. I wouldn't like that. No one likes that. You know, you don't have to be a woman to not like that. That is oppressed, if you will. Yeah. If someone is just blowing their breath behind me here all my life, that is, yeah. I don't think anyone has any right to do that to any human being, because yeah, so that's oppressive. So yes, men have done that to their wives. You need to protect your females in order so your females won't go off and get impregnated. And also, I think I mentioned in one of my videos that women don't understand that a man is being dominating over you because he doesn't know what you're doing. You know what you put inside of you, but he doesn't know that. And also, if you get impregnated, he doesn't know that it wasn't him and stuff like that. So driven by to protect, to ensure that, you know, you're going to carry the gene of him and not of anyone else. So I'm not saying that because of that instinct, now we have to, you know, cage women, put them in a cage. I'm not saying that, obviously. But at the same time, we have to understand why people react the way we react. And once you understand that, at least you're not surprised why people are doing what they do. Really deviating. So do I think patriarchy is oppressive? Like I said, depending on the circumstances. Women can cheat and have multiple partners and so on and so forth. That's their flaws. Men can dominate and oppress women and the world and the men themselves. You know, men can oppress other men. I mean, come on, what are we talking about? What are you biologically driven to do? And with that on top, add your life experience, your values, the way you are born, how who knows with what type of information do we come in the world as beings? That's another subject. But it's not that simple. That's what I know. Yes, you know, humans get corrupted, in short. And obviously, women are not going to get corrupted dominating. Women are get corrupted and toxic by how we saw women doing and by cheating and stuff like that. And men are going to get toxic by oppressing and being tyrannical and using their dominance in a negative way. I hope that made a little bit of sense. That's definitely a good question and it's worth expanding on it. Perhaps would be better to have some notes and really follow, since I'm always jumping from one idea to another. So please feel free to give me any feedback if you think I missed something or I don't make any sense. Thank you so much for your patience and for listening to me. And like always, until next time. Intros or outros are more confusing and more complicated than subjects that I have to talk about.